So today's cardinal lesson, we're talking about how to turn a lump sum, which many times is an IRA, 401k, into a pension check. You know, our parents had pensions, a lot of them, yeah, and certainly their parents did. And that's what you worked for your whole life. That's why you stayed with one company, and then you would retire, and you can't outlive a pension check. And typically, if our parents were a couple, when they retired, if it was dad that was collecting the pension check, then dad would pass on. If mom was still alive, she'd get half the pension check. And there was a lot of security in that because you could never run out of money. And in today's day and time, we don't have those typically unless you work for a government entity or some very large corporation or a bank or something that still has a pension fund. It's nice, but they usually have a 401k too on top of that. And so what we have now is we have clients, customers, people out there, the baby boomers in their 60s like me that are retiring, and they've got a hunk of money and Social Security, and they've got to figure out how to live through the whole of retirement and distribute that money to themselves. And it presents a problem, and it's a problem that we help people solve in financial planning. Now, I want to bring Tom on to really just talk about why we're doing this video today.
Yeah, I mean, we're doing this video because the biggest concern we hear daily is the worry about running out of money. And so, what we wanted to do today is show you how you could safely withdraw, how much you could safely withdraw from your lump sum and not run out over the life of either a single person or a couple. So that's what we're doing today. I'm going to bring up the show notes we have here. There, you can find them at the below the video here or on our website. I'm not going to spend a lot of time in them because really all the notes just back up the numbers on the board. But we're going to talk about sort of two different annuities here through the show. These are the illustrations. We've highlighted the numbers we've put on the board. This is for the single person, and then the second one is the couple. And so again, a lot of details here. If you're interested, download them, read through them. Call us. We can talk about it more specifically to you. But again, all these just back up what's on the board.
So, the example that Tom and I have come up with today is using a $500,000 lump sum. And we're thinking that's an amount that's typically in an IRA, a 401k. And if it's not 500,000, if you have 300,000 or you have 900,000, don't hang up too much on the money because these numbers are transferable. Uh, you might have 900,000, but you only want to commit 500,000 to this income program and minimum distribution program. So if you wanted to commit the whole 900,000, you would just do all the numbers and the changing, and you could call us and we could reproduce this thing tailored to you. So we just wanted to give an example. And I want Tom to talk about, there's a lot of just kind of rule of thumb strategy plans out there and addressing what he was talking about, the worry of running out of money or outliving your money. And so just talk about those a little bit, Tom.
Yeah, I mean, I think now that we have a lot of the population that don't have pensions, right? They have this balance of money they've saved up. The question then becomes, how much can I withdraw from my account and not run out? I mean, the early years are not the issue, right? If you have a big balance of money here, you could pretty much take out, I don't want to say anything you want, but a lot of it and not really think about it. The problem becomes in your late 70s and your 80s, like that balance starts coming down. The worry there is just running out and still having life to live and no money left to spend. And so, there's often times, what's a safe withdrawal rate? How much can I pull out and be okay long term? And so, what we wanted to do is really show you how you can use annuities to ensure that income never stops. Even if the balance goes to zero, you still have a check coming in for the rest of your lives.
Okay, so what we've done is we've come up with an example on a couple. One of them 65, the other one's 64, or they're both age 65 or soon to be 65. And then the single individual is just one person, 65. And it's the same $500,000, and we're showing what is a safe withdrawal rate. And so let's just start with a couple. What we're showing here is two policies, one to cover the first 8 years, and then one to cover the ninth and to cover the people for as long as the couple is alive. Either one of the couple is alive. So this is 100% survivor benefit. And so you take these and you say, well, why do you have to use two products? Because we could actually use the first product, the couple, both age 65, the one that's in yellow up there, and we could just make that pay for life, that amount. It would be a little bit different amount, but by putting the two things together, we can get you a higher income. That's a simpler way to put it. And so if we just look at this from this couple, both age 65, from 2024 to 2032, which is 8 years, they can collect $2,500 a month, guaranteed, or $30,000 a year, which is 6% withdrawal rate of the original 500,000 for 8 years. That's guaranteed. If both of them died during the time, the payments would finish out to the heirs or the beneficiaries. It's just a way of setting up a cash flow, and they can safely withdraw that amount of money, knowing they've got this second annuity to pick up when the first one ran out. Okay. Now, the second annuity starts in 2032, and it starts paying $3,423 a month for as long as either of the couple is alive. So that means that if one of them lives to 79 and the other one lives to 92, it's paying out the 3,423 a month till the one that's 92 is passed. Okay, it's going to keep sending checks no matter how much is in the thing in cash value, as long as either of the couple is alive, and that's an 8.2% withdrawal rate of the original $500,000. So it starts at 6, stays the same for 8 years, and then it jumps to 8.2%, and then that check, the 3423, just comes in for life. I mean, it's literally that simple. So, Tom, perhaps we're certainly oversimplifying it, and we've showed you those illustrations that are in the show notes. So if you wanted to study this a little bit, you can go in and get the show notes and read through there. I'll caution you, it's many pages long. You're welcome to give us a call or get in touch, and we'll, first of all, tailor one of these to you, and then we'll explain that illustration in great detail. But Tom, do you have something to say about this first example?
No, I mean, I think that it's pretty straightforward, right? The second annuity is built on a fixed indexed annuity. So there's a lot of moving parts, a lot of things going on. But just focus, and what we've highlighted in the show notes is the guaranteed page. Is we're really just solving for the income. Is we just want to see what's going to create the highest income for you, regardless of the noise of what's going on with the other moving parts in that contract. Is we want the highest guaranteed income. And like Hans said, is we have, a 6% withdrawal rate early. It stays 6%, so that's level, the 6% for the first 8 years, but then it gets that bump up, right? Because we wanted to account for some cost of it, some inflation happening between now and then. And so this isn't, the end all be all. It doesn't solve every problem. It needs to be built within a larger plan. And we wouldn't want to use all your money going into something like this. But this is a way to really just create a pension out of the money that you have to really shore up your income, and then the other money you have can be invested for more long-term growth, and account for, maybe you need some one-time withdrawals for trips or whatever that is. So I mean, it needs to be built within a larger plan, but this makes a lot of sense when we have people who are retiring. They don't know how much they can live off of. They're really sort of worried about taking this out, and there's some behavioral benefits to this as well. Is I can't tell you how often we run into this where people have been really good at saving money. Is that's why they have the balance they did, is they sort of conditioned themselves to never touch that account. And so we almost have to give them permission to spend some of it. What's nice about these is you just get a check per month, and that check is going to come in the next month, and you can sort of come to grips with spending some of this money which a lot of times we got to talk people into doing if they're really good savers. So I think it just makes a lot of sense.
Well, sure. So we're still in example one. I didn't talk about the apportionment of the $500,000. So we're going to put $204,485.96 of the 500,000 into this first payout annuity that's in yellow, um, and we're going to put the rest into the one to the right, uh, the 2032 and after annuity, which is going to have 295,514.04. Those two numbers added together equal 500,000. So that's how we're going to apportion the money. One for the first 8 years, the second one for life after the 8 years. And then people often ask, well, what happens if we die? Both of us die at any given point. What happens to this $500,000? Well, if both of you are gone while the first annuity during the first 8 years, well, then those payments are going to be made to your beneficiaries to finish the 8 years. And then secondly, that 2032 annuity, because it hasn't been activated, if both of you were gone, it will have the 295,000 that you put in there will have incurred some growth. And then since you both passed before we started anything on that, the principal will be paid out to your beneficiaries. Now, another scenario is both of you are gone during the payout of this second annuity. Well, there won't be anything out of the first annuity because that paid its all amount out. The second annuity will have grown substantially from the 295,000 before it even begins paying out. And then you'll be collecting the payout for however long you collect it till the second one of you is gone. If there's still cash value left in that annuity, then that will go to your heirs. But if the second one of you lives up into your mid 80s or longer, there's really not going to be anything left in either one of these annuities. But you're going to be thankful for the checks you're getting and the security of that for the rest of your life. Okay? Now, if we move down to the next annuity, we've had a lot of folks making comments. You folks are always talking about married people, and we do talk about them a lot. But we have a lot of clients and people coming to us that are single. And so at retirement, if you're single, this is the same strategy works, and it actually pays you more on the second annuity. The first annuity doesn't matter whether there's one or two people. It just pays you $2,500 a month for 8 years, $30,000 a year, and you got to put 204,000 in it. So the first piece, the first 8 years is the same whether it's for one or two people. The second annuity, the one for 2032 and after, is a little bit different. Same money going in, 295,000, but the payout is 3,782 a month for life. And while I will emphasize, we pick all of these annuities from a whole list of different companies and different products. And it could be that there's a more efficient annuity than this one that we've used in this example for the single. Okay. And if that's the case, when we actually fix one for you, we'll take that in a note and we might shift to another annuity. Not really that likely, but some of these have better payouts. And I want you to also notice neither of these annuities care whether you're a male or a female. Some types of annuities actually make a distinction because women live longer than men, so the annuities should be a little bit more expensive. But in this case, they're not.
The other thing I will point out is this first annuity, the 8-year one, that's going to be the same regardless of your age, regardless if you're single, married. I mean, it's just paying for 8 years. So they don't really care who you are. On the second annuity, age makes a difference. So if you're younger, the payouts aren't going to be as high. If you're older, they might be a little bit higher. The whether you're single or married does make a difference. And so that second annuity is more, we're going to sit there and customize it for you. we have essentially, I don't even know how many companies we have these days, but we have a lot that we can choose from. And so we have software where we put it in, we see who's producing the highest payout. We're not sold on just any one company. It's just whoever's going to give you the best bet. And depending on your age, depending on if you're married or single, it might not be the ones we put in this video. And then states are also important because not every product is available in every state. So what's available to one person might not be available to the next. So you just need to call us and we can help you figure out what makes the most sense for you.
Okay. And so this is a strategy. And, the reason we chose 8 years, because the person is 65, the minimum distributions or RMDs start at 73. And so we wanted this first annuity completely depleted. So you've used it before minimum distributions. And then we're going to show you a payout rate that will be your minimum distribution for several years, even if you've got other IRA money on the sidelines. So we wanted that distinction at age 73. But we can come up with all kind of combinations of these, just whatever makes sense for you and your life expectancy and your situation. We're just giving you an eye towards some of the planning that we do. Now, as we talk about our financial plans and the 7 worries, we always at the end of the video want to touch on what we talked about today. And what we touched on, the IRA 401k is the checkbox over on the lower left. We talked about this whole video is about income and creating a monthly income for life. And then it's certainly about taxes, because this is an IRA money. You're going to have to pay tax on this money coming out of here. The beauty of this thing is it just smooths it out over your lifetime, so it won't create some kind of gigantic tax effect on you if you leave it alone. So I'm Hans Scheil,
And I'm Tom Griffith.
and we thank you very much for listening.
Thank you.